Okay, so there's a lot of confusion over the Adriana Smith story. I am here to clarify the misinformation that people keep giving you. She was not used as an experiment. This has happened over 57 times in the United States since 1980. 5 of those cases resulted in Cathy's Law from 1995 in the state of New York because 5 of those cases were impregnated after life support. There's over 24 of them that have happened since the year 2000, but since specifically 1980, 57 in the United States, hundreds globally, including an international one that happened in 1991 in Japan. Plus the 2019 case of the Czech Republic woman, 2001, 2003, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2023, and now 2025, Adriana Smith. As you can see, 2003, 2021, 2019. A lot of these cases made not only national news, but international news. There are cases from other countries that made national news and reached news here in the United States. Yes, there have been many cases. So don't say that this was an experiment because this has successfully been done worldwide hundreds of times since 1980. Before that, there were no documented cases because Western and modern medicine has evolved. There's the case right there from 2014, 2021. But right now, a lot of the news is being dominated by the 2025 Adriana Smith case. This case was one of the largest internationally, and this happened in 1991 in Japan. A woman had a baby after 117 days on maternal somatic support. That baby's APGAR score was a 10-10-10 at 1, 5, and 10 minutes post-birth, and the baby was 4.9 pounds. What we don't have is the numbers on how many babies have survived. But I have found out of 57 cases since 1980 that we know over 2/3 of them have survived. There is case study after case study. And yes, it has been documented in the last 45 years. You can find a lot of information, just like I did, on this exact thing. It's rare, but it is documented going back to 1980. Like I said, 5 of those cases that I could find, verify, and corroborate since 1980 were impregnation due to SA after somebody was on life support. And that's what resulted in Cathy's Law, the 1995 case in the state of New York, which demands that nursing aides and nurses have better background checks. Because as you can guess, it was a nurse's aide who impregnated somebody on life support. And that's not the only time that has happened. I have found 5 different cases where that has happened in the United States since 1980. You can find all of the most notable past cases. So what does it mean to be declared brain dead? Adriana Smith had blood clots. She had been to the hospital previously. They did not do an MRI or a CT scan and catch the blood clots. Even if they had, there is no guarantee would they have been able to treat it or surgically treat it or do something to have prevented this from happening anyways. We don't know that. We can't know that. Not even doctors themselves can know that for sure. Was it negligent? Yeah, especially if a migraine was not common for her. But being declared brain dead is when you are considered legally and medically dead, even if your heart is still beating. This happened to my dad in 2020 against his will. He was on life support for 2 days, and because of COVID, they forced it. And they didn't even let my mother, who 8 days later would celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary and 54 years together, would not let my mother go in there to say goodbye to his physical body because of COVID lockdowns. And then this, I had no idea about this. Death typically physically occurs within minutes to hours. Some individuals may survive a few days. The majority of patients will pass within 24 hours after the withdrawal of mechanical ventilation. My father continued to breathe for almost 8 hours after the withdrawal of mechanical ventilation. And not only did doctors and nursing staff not call my mother or me or either one of my 2 sisters, they didn't tell us that he passed later that night until the next day. And all we got was a screenshot capture from a video chat with a nurse who was very sympathetic to us not being able to say goodbye to him. The funeral home wouldn't let me say goodbye to my father, wouldn't let my mother see him either. He went to be cremated and we got to come pick up his ashes. That was it. So what is so different about the Adriana Smith case? Well, let's go through the facts. And these I have verified and corroborated. Yes, Georgia does have an abortion law, a heartbeat law. Some people say that she had a DNR and they overrode that. There is no proof of that. Her mother has never corroborated that. In fact, there is evidence of the opposite. Saying that she was an experiment absolutely undermines, since 1980, the hundreds and hundreds of cases that this has happened to women, not just in the US, but around the world. 32 of those cases have gone global from the United States alone. Adriana Smith also has a 7-year-old son who, in not even 10 years' time, is going to be able to see and look up all of these news articles, as well as all of the TikTok creators who have said some horrible things and helped in spreading misinformation. Adriana Smith had a cesarean section done on her body while on life support on Friday, June 13th, 2025. That is when baby Chance came into the world. Her birthday, I found, was Sunday, June 15th of 2025, and she turned 31 years old. Now, she was supposedly, from what I can verify and corroborate, taken off of life support on Tuesday, June 17th of 2025. There are a lot of people out here saying that that was her birthday, and that's also the day that baby Chance came into the world. That's not true. He came into the world the Friday, June 13th, and her birthday was Sunday, June 15th. So it's not about if you're left, if you're right, if you're pro-life, or if you're pro-choice. It's about adhering to the family's wishes. And in this case, her mother has been explicitly clear, and people are failing to hear her.
We want her to have her baby.
This is the mother of Adriana Smith speaking about her daughter and her pregnancy.
We want her life to continue to dwell her children. And I'm not saying that we would have chose to terminate her pregnancy. What I'm saying is she's not there, but the baby's there.
Politics, virtue signaling, opinions, personal feelings, and bias should be put aside. The only thing that people should be taking into consideration is what her family say and what they want, because that is based in the absence of Adriana Smith making her wishes known. The people closest to her would know her best. I would trust in the fact that her mother would know how to make the best decision based on her knowing her daughter and her grandson, whether I agree or I don't agree, or I like it or I do not like it.
We wanted to know if she was to abort, would she have a chance at her life? And they said there was no chance or no hope. We want her to have her baby. We want her life to continue to dwell her children.
That right there is all anybody needs to know. It does not matter what your thoughts, feelings, and your political beliefs are. Respecting her mother, respecting her life, her death, and her 2 children should be the only thing that matters. If her mother is asking for support, then do what she asks. If she's asking for donations to a GoFundMe, donate. If she's asking for people to rally, go rally. If she wants people to protest, so that way the next woman does have a choice, then do that. But don't undermine or belittle this woman, her memory, her legacy, her life, her death, or her children with misinformation and untruths. She is going to have a homegoing service on June 28th of 2025. If you want to put your money where your mouth is, you should do what a lot of people are doing, and you should send flowers, or you should donate to the multiple GoFundMes that are raising money for exactly this purpose. Adriana Smith, her sons, her funeral service, and for medical bills. This is the church and the funeral home. You can go to their website and you can directly order flowers, or it tells you where you can donate. And if you don't feel safe with a GoFundMe, then send your donations directly on behalf of her mother, her sons, right here. There's still time. And that is all I got to say about that. You guys can drop your comments, your thoughts down below. I love you all. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And I really pray that Adriana Smith rests in heaven and that baby Chance thrives in life. I really believe he will.